Y'all doing, man?
Hey, doing great.
What's up, brother?
How y'all doing?
What's up, Mr. Shadow? How
What
you
up,
doing?
Shadow?
Yes, sir. All right, y'all ready for the joke of the day?
Yep, here we
Hey,
go.
let's go.
Okay, now this is a good one. I know I say that every week, but this is a pretty good one
They're
right
all
here.
corny.
All right.
They're all corny, but boy. Yes, sir. Okay, joke of the day. Okay, what rock group has 4 men who can't sing?
What rock group?
What rock group has 4 men
Cause 4 men
Aerosmith. I don't know.
that
can't
can't sing?
He said
Nah, I'm
Aerosmith.
just kidding. I love
Well,
it.
they have one singer, so this one has 4 singers.
But
You
they-
right? What group has 4 men who don't sing?
Man,
4 men who don't sing.
I don't
I'm
know.
What
lost.
rock group? Mount Rushmore.
Ah,
all right. Come
let's
on,
go.
All right. You get it? They're
Oh my
made out of rock.
God. Rock
I
group.
get it.
That's corny.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. We are the Fly Dance Company based out of Houston, Texas. To my right, I have.
Shadow Black.
To my left, I have.
Jesse Magana.
All right. And if you don't know, of course, we travel all over the United States, all over the world, performing evening shows and concerts. Jesse, we have some new dates. Let the people know where we're going to be.
July 10th, we will be at the Missouri Symphony at the Missouri Theater in Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah.
July 16th, we will be here at Miller Outdoor Theater in Houston, Texas.
Say, man.
July 19th through the 24th, we will be at the Camplex Center in Gillette, Wyoming.
Hold up,
August 11th, we will be at the Wolf Trap Theater in Vienna, Virginia. December 4th, we will be collaborating with the Youngstown Symphony at the Dior Performing Arts Center in Youngstown, Ohio.
All right.
sir.
So make sure you guys come out and catch us live, Fly Dance Company. We dance to all types of music, from classical music to Earth, Wind, and Fire, to some James Brown, to some live beatboxing. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you catch us on the road. Now, today's episode, okay, we're going to be talking about, the different branches of the military, right? And as you guys know, actually, first of all, let's remove our face masks, brothers. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
so let's take our face masks
We
off.
all good.
Yes, because we have been tested, of course, to COVID, and we're gonna give our audio listeners a better sound, right? We're sounding a little bit muffled with those. So we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to M.A.D Discussions. Now, like I said, we're gonna be shouting out all the military branches, right? But before we get into that, I want to say a quick shout out to all our listeners all around the world, from Vietnam to Poland to Spain, right? We have listeners in Spain, so thank you to everybody out there.
Most
to France,
appreciated.
we have listeners in France. So Hungary, we have listeners in Hungary, and all over the United States, right? So thank you to all our international listeners. Make sure you like and subscribe and to our podcast, and just continue to support us all over. So thank you to all of you guys who are listening. Thank you guys so much, right? So for those of you who don't know, right, Shadow actually served in the military. So Jesse, did you know that?
Wow, yeah, man.
Yes,
it did.
and we
Yes.
touched on it a little bit in previous episodes, correct?
Yeah.
So,
there we have
but
it.
today I want to get it like a little bit more in depth of that, right? So Shadow, where did you serve?
I served in the United States Navy.
United-
I was stationed
Navy.
up in Weapons Stations, Earl, but I went to boot camp in Orlando.
In Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now, what kind of like made you kind of say, you know what, I think I need to go into the military? Was that something by choice, or was
It was by choice.
Yeah.
It wasn't my first choice.
yeah,
Initially I would have loved to have had gone to college.
yeah,
I guess you could. They would say I was one of the smart kids, like
Uh,
in middle school and elementary. But
yeah,
when I got into high school, kind of started messing off, and
yeah,
so I knew I wasn't gonna be able to get to college.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I gotta do something.
Mhm.
So I decided to go with military.
yeah,
But at the same time, I didn't want to be like a Marine or like
Yeah.
be in the Army. I didn't want to go to war. I was like, so is it gonna be the Air Force or the Navy? The
Yeah.
Air Force wasn't signing on
Yeah.
people at the time, so I was like, Navy it is. So
Yeah.
and they got to travel a lot. They do most traveling.
That's what's up. What's up? You don't mind slide out your microphone a little bit to the front.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So as Shadow's adjusting his microphone, because I want to make sure we get you like, you know what I mean. There you go. So I think the cool thing about the military, right, is at least for you know, for me to think, right, it's like something that kind of allows you kind of like to see the world, right? And was that one of the reasons why you kind of signed up, you know, to the military?
Absolutely. It definitely wasn't for the money.
Yeah.
Government doesn't pay you very well in
Yeah.
the military, so it was definitely the travel. Man, coming up, you know, where we come from, you know, seeing the same things in the hood, and just wanted something different. Really, just oh, I see. Yeah, just really wanted something. Just wanted something different.
Yeah.
You know, different experiences
Yeah.
besides the day-to-day stuff you see in the streets and in the
Yeah.
hood, in your neighborhood. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, going from the neighborhood, right, and also, you know, being able to travel, right? Talk about that experience, right? You know, how was it like when you're young, right, and then next thing you know you're in a different country? Like, how did that feel?
That was a major culture shock.
Yeah.
major culture shock. The first port we pulled into was Scotland.
Yeah.
And I just, even as I think about it now, it's almost like I go back in time.
Yeah.
It's like time traveling. I can remember that feeling that I had pulling into that Scottish port and just being blown away by the different topography of the land, the way it was just different, man. It's like I went on, it's almost like coming onto another planet, a different world.
Yeah.
You know, I remember back, you know, like they would call it the new world and the old
Yeah.
world. Like it really was like coming into a whole different world.
Yeah.
And I was just remember just being like, wow.
That's like an experience that we can relate to, right? Jesse, think about, we've been, blessed to be able to go and travel and perform at Fly, right? How was
Right.
it for you, like, the first time? Because I know you've probably been to, like, to Mexico and,
Right.
like, something close by, right? But going to a country that you've never, like you're not going to understand the language type thing, right?
Right.
How was that, like, with our first trip to...
It's funny how you mentioned, cause like
Europe.
Mexico, I go there like almost every other like month. You know what I mean? Like they already know me whenever I cross the border. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like, hey, what's up, hermano?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, what's up? But the very first time I went out of country with Fly was probably to Albania,
Mm-hmm.
and the experience was it felt like a movie.
Yeah.
Like every time you watch a movie, like you're sitting
Yeah.
there and you're seeing the character's
Yeah.
point of view,
Yeah.
and that's exactly how it feels. Like you get on the plane. And then, like, the plane is, like, bigger than normal plane rides that usually
Yeah.
go in the States.
Yeah.
So, like, you're amazed by that. And then another thing, too, is, like, the actual, like, long flight.
Mhm.
Like, you have to be there, and you kind of have to, like, find ways to entertain yourself.
Yeah.
And luckily, we were with a big group. And I remember I got sat down next to Mo and Mrinz and Joel. Like, man.
Yeah.
And we were just cracking up. Like, we were just, like...
And who are those guys? In case
Oh, those are, like, former Fly Dance Company members.
Okay.
So, shout out to them. Like,
yeah, shout out to
they're
them.
still dancing, and they're still, like, representing.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, man.
Already.
And then landing over there and experiencing like different cultures out
Yeah.
there, like the language, the
Yeah.
food, like the way how people interact with each other. Like
Mhm.
it's just an amazing experience. And
Yeah.
then going to perform on the stage out there,
Yeah.
it's like the cherry on top of it, you know.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting to like kind of even though like you were in the military, you're dancing, right? It's still like one of those experiences that you're gonna remember for the rest of your
Right.
lives. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now, prior to you joining the military, right, to the Navy, what were you getting into, or things happen? What was happening to where you said, okay, I think I need to go to the military? Why not college? Why not other things for you?
I think I remember what it was. I had like I said, I remember I transferred from Memorial to Sam Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and when I made that transition, that's when I was in high school. I was in those accelerated classes and courses, and when I moved, my grades started slacking. I started getting more into dancing, and just wasn't too focused on school.
Yeah.
So I ended up missing graduating by like 2 credits.
Mm.
So it was like, what do I want to do? I'm not fixing to go back to school for
Yeah.
a whole nother year. Can't go to college unless I just remember just
Yeah.
thinking, I'm just gonna go to the military. I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the Navy
Yeah.
and just get my GED later on. You
That's
know, which
cool.
is what I did. I still went back and got my GED.
Yeah.
matter of fact. So it was just a personal choice of just wanting to do something. And then I know I can get some college money too if
Yeah.
I did decide to later on in life go to college, that the military was going to pay
Mhm.
for it. So
Absolutely. I think also, you being, I just could think. I'm thinking for myself too. As because I did like a semester in college. So, well, to our audio listeners and the kids out there, follow what works for you. We're not saying go down our path or do exactly what we did. But we figured it out. Academics. Shadow was excelling in that, and then once he transferred from that school, things started moving in his life, so he figured out a different way for him to kind of get to his goal, right? And the military was one thing for him, right? Jesse, were you somebody who did you go to college and all that as well?
Yeah, I actually did. I got my associates in business and marketing at
Mhm.
San Jacinto College at the South Campus over there in at the southeast side of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that was a fun experience too. Like
Yeah.
a lot of that I take and I just like learned from those lessons that I've learned in college.
Mm-hmm.
And I just applied to the experience that I'm going through now, and it's honestly I could look back and it helped me out, especially with the brand that we're running.
Mm-hmm.
So I could take a lot of lessons and I could apply it to that, like I said, like the marketing or even like promoting the brand and
Yeah.
everything along those lines.
Absolutely. And the thing is for me too, it's like, at the time, Fly was actually, I joined Fly when I was about 17 years old. I graduated that same year, and 2 years prior to that I was working with Fly since I was at 14, kind of testing the waters, going to performances, sitting down. So my training was kind of like, on, what do you call it, like on the job type.
What the OTJ?
Yeah, on the job training type thing, right? So I was able to kind of become the director and the executive director, the owner of Fly throughout. It was a 20-year road, 20-year road. You know what I mean? So for me, learning, for me, learning was always kind of difficult. So college really wasn't a big option. I enrolled in college. Went to Houston Community College for like a semester, and then all our tours started happening. So we just we actually had to get out of there and start hitting the road. And we were touring about 6 months out of the year. So that was pretty interesting for me. Shadow. So let's say you signed up, right? You put the dotted line. Where you said your mom had to sign off on you. You were mentioning that.
Yeah, I had to get permission because I was only 17.
Mhm.
I was 17 when I signed up, but by the time I went to boot camp, I think I had like a week
Mhm.
before my birthday when I
Yeah.
went to boot camp. I
Yeah.
ended up having my birthday in boot camp. So my mom had to sign for me. I had to also get a waiver because of being flat-footed,
Oh.
and I had to also get a waiver because I didn't graduate high school and I didn't have a GED.
Well,
So
how I thought that you couldn't join the military if you were flat-footed and all that.
that's what they say. But
Yeah.
when the military, the government, Uncle Sam wants you bad enough,
Mhm.
they'll make a way. They'll find loopholes.
Right.
And so being that,
but why did they want you so bad?
I scored high. I had made real high score on my ASVAB test.
Mm.
And the ASVAB test, for those who don't know,
Mhm.
it's more like an aptitude test to determine, your skill level, your skill set, and what job you're going to have in the branch, that you're serving.
So Shadow, right? So you're on the bus, right? And that's how they picked you up, like on a bus, or you have to go to a bus or something.
I flew there, of
Yeah.
course, and then
You're flying to.
I flew to boot camp.
Okay.
And then they pick you up, on the bus.
Yeah.
And drop you off at the boot camp.
Yeah.
So and it's that moment that you get off the bus.
So you're nervous, dude, or you're like excited?
I'm super nervous. It's like it's a combination of feelings. Like you're nervous, you're excited, you don't know what to expect. It's like, what the heck is going to happen? So as soon as you get off the bus, that's when everything all begins.
So is it like?
Get over
So
here.
it is like in the movies, dude.
Yes,
Like,
it is.
Wow.
It is like in the
you're
movie.
like, get over
most
here,
cases,
maggot.
most
Drop
cases,
and give me 50.
most cases is not what you see. It's
Yeah.
nothing like you see in the movies. But then there's all those instances. It's like
Yeah.
it's exactly how you see in the movies.
Well, 'cause
and
I
this is
know-
one of those instances. It's just like you see in the movies.
Yeah. So it's because you see in the movies, like a lot of people like taking their lives, doing that type of stuff. Did some of that happen?
Oh yeah,
For real?
yeah.
Wow.
There's some guys that just aren't
Yeah.
mentally fortified to be gone away from their families. And, these are, we're 17, 18, we're kids. We're still babies, basically. And, to be that first time being gone away and in that 2 months, man, it feels, it's very dragged out.
I see what you're saying. What's something that's, also like kind of upsetting to know is like, the youth are actually dealing with that type of stuff too, and we were recently in Wyoming, right, Jesse?
Right.
And, a few months ago. And one of the things that, that the schools and the educators that are dealing with is a lot of suicide, and a lot of it has to do with, number one, mental illness, so maybe a lot of these guys who are these kids who are going to serve, they have these issues and, maybe they haven't been diagnosed yet, right? So they're sitting there missing home, and like you said, right? And it's just something that's not just happening in the military, but this is also happening, all around the country, and this is like the Midwest. So it's just, a lot of these smaller towns really don't have a lot of things to do in a sense, right? So a lot of them are either online or, they're working in, agriculture and things of that nature. They can only excel so much in these rural areas. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And another thing too is that like a lot of times they don't have the same opportunity as others to go out and experience that.
Correct.
A lot of times they might be in situations where they don't have the financial needs to go to a bigger city, to go to like bigger schooling and, different avenues in that sort of sense.
Yeah. And I think also, like, even like in my neighborhood or us growing up, sometimes you grow up in like these 5 blocks. Like, even though you have access to it, you don't know about it. You're not really educated about it. You got to worry about somebody around the corner, putting a bullet in you, and trying to make it home without getting beat up. Like, you don't have time to think what I'm gonna do afterward. You know what I mean?
See, and it's those things right there.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I got to get out of this
environment.
I got to leave this environment, and I didn't want to be a product of my environment.
Absolutely.
So it's those reasons right there. Like, it's mandatory that I get out of this situation.
Absolutely. So let's give a shout out to all our military members. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Big shout out.
All of the Army, right? The Navy, the Marines.
Absolutely.
The Navy, right? And all the special ops folks. Everybody who has served in the military. All the veterans out there. Thank you guys.
We really appreciate
our POWs. Everybody who's gave their life in a sense and also, served the time to protect us. And we wouldn't be here without you. So, sir, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Proud
thank you, Shadow, man.
Thank you for serving, brother.
Thank you so much.
Proud to have, sir. Proud to
Absolutely.
have, sir.
And, the military kind of opened that door for you to kind of see, right? For us, it was, the dancing. And as once you got back from the military, right, that's when you started kind of tapping back into. Did you dance while you were in the military?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Hey,
oh, yeah. Absolutely. I was being overseas, going to check. All I wanted to do was just dance anyway. So while I'm over there, I'm checking out the local nightlife, going to the clubs, and I had to cut a few steps.
Did you have to battle like somebody from Scotland or something, or
no battles, no battles.
Just grooving.
Just grooving, man.
Were you able to see like, okay, they're doing this on this side, on this coast, they're doing over here, or in Europe, they're dancing different? What were they doing? Like, how was the house then, or you weren't there yet, like at that level?
I don't. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
There wasn't no one over there when I would go to a couple of those clubs. There was no one over there dancing like I was back then. No.
What do you think made you?
It was still kind of early.
For you, it was early.
No,
or over there.
Over there. Yeah.
So you were kind of showing them like, check this out.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what's up, man.
But not in the show off way. Just doing what I just doing what I do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Jesse, right?
Yes, sir.
I think you have some. Don't you know some people that are actually in the military or that were in the military?
Well, yes, I do. And then also speaking about dancing in the military, I actually have a friend. His name is Dennis Zuniga, and I want to give a special shout out to him.
Let's give him a big shout out.
Shout out to Dennis Zuniga.
All right.
He represents Supreme Styles Crew and Assorted Flavors.
Yeah. And he was in the military?
Yes, sir. He was in the Marines.
Marines.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And he's a very talented young man.
Awesome.
And I also want to give another shout out to B Girl Snap One. So
Hey.
let's give a big shout out to B Girl Snap One.
Round of applause. Round of applause.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
she's actually she works for the Alaska Army National Guard.
Wow.
And she's
Wow.
representing for the B girls right now. She's doing like an awesome
Alright.
job. And then I also want to give one more shout out to my cousin. His name is Israel Mendieta,
Uh-huh.
and he's also in the military as well. So I want to give him a shout out.
Round of
That's
applause to
alright.
him. Big round of applause. Hit him with the applause button.
One time for
yes,
my
sir.
cousin.
Good. One
We call
time
him-
for the cousin.
Everybody calls him Mickey,
Mickey?
but his real name is Israel Mendieta.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
awesome.
my cousin Mickey, man, shout out to you.
Yeah, man. So thank you guys. Awesome. That's just something that I just can't put my head around it. How important. Actually, I can't put my head. It's just so important to be able to, to just to show them that that we care and we appreciate all their service. So again, Shadow, we really admire that about you. So you're there in boot camp, right? What's the first thing they do? They assign you a bunk, or are you? What do they do? They put you in the line. What's going down?
You pretty much. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot going on at that time. Everybody's getting checked in. You're taking off. You got to change out of the stuff you have, put that in the box, send all that stuff back home because they're gonna have your uniforms. They're getting your heads shaved. Yeah, it's a total. It's basically an initiation. You're
Yeah.
being totally stripped
Of who you used to be.
who you used to
Now
be.
you're becoming
not
a
a civilian
soldier.
no more. You're
Uh-huh.
now.
It's kind of like they're molding you to become a better version of yourself.
Exactly.
Now so after they shave your hair off, boom, everything's good. How's the food in there? At
Uh,
that time,
At that time, the food is not bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
not
the
bad.
food-
Like
food was
cafeteria style food.
Yeah, cafeteria style. Like the
Mhm.
Navy, we eat very well.
Wow.
We ate very, very well in the Navy.
That's cool.
Yeah, food was pretty good.
Yeah. So then you go from the military, right? You're in there, boom, boom, boom. You get your grub on. How is the physical side of it? Are you guys climbing underneath the wood, the big logs, and all that?
We just
stuff?
have regular physical training. You
Yeah.
know, maybe like 2 or 3 times out of the day.
Yeah.
We're going to class.
Mhm.
Um,
What are you guys learning? Like class, or like for what?
you're just learning. You're actually learning about the Navy. Different. There's a whole. Different vocabulary. You
Mm-hmm.
have to learn the language. What's a bulkhead? What's starboard? What's port? What's don't ever call the ship a boat. It's not a boat. It's a ship.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Actually, I didn't know
there's
that.
just certain things. We don't call these pants or jeans. These are dungarees.
Dungarees?
You know, when we go use the restroom, you don't go use the restroom. You go to the head.
To the
To the
head.
head,
You go to the
okay.
head.
Oh, okay.
You know.
This is cool
So
terminology.
you have to
here.
learn that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to go to class. So there's academics and there's also physical training as well. So
Okay. So you got the physical and you got the academics. And what was your position?
I was just a seaman. I was just a seaman. I had a couple different jobs. I was just trying to find my way.
Yeah.
But being at the military wasn't really like my main thing.
Mhm.
I just kind of just floated around. I was a
Yeah.
gunner's mate.
Yeah.
I was part of the firemen on the ship's firemen.
Mm-hmm.
Did a couple of things, man. For one minute, I wanted to do air traffic control because that's one of the main things that up in the Navy, helping guiding the planes on and off of the aircraft carriers.
Yeah.
But I eventually changed my mind about that, and I thought I was going to re-enlist, but then I ended up getting out. I was just like, I'm done. I've done my time, and I think I started getting homesick. What it was, I was ready to come home. So
And you did
Yeah.
2 years, you said, right?
I only did 2 years.
2 years? Awesome. So then you get out of the military, boom, and then where do you go from there?
Came back home. It's just like I thought, like I said, I came back because I was homesick.
Yeah.
And looking back, had I known what I know now, I
Yeah.
probably would have
Would've stayed a little bit longer.
Re-enlisted. I thought I was missing something.
Yeah.
And,
That's something, at least for me, like when I was touring in the earlier years, right? I would go, I'd be on these long tours and I'm missing home. Then I get home and I was like, what are y'all doing? They're still sitting in the same spot when I left 4 months ago. Like, man, a
nothing's
year
changed.
later, boom, come back. What's up? What y'all doing? They moved from this side of the couch to that side of the couch, right? And then boom, they see, then they're like, oh, they're actually doing something with themselves. You know what I mean? But it's just because I started young, so I was on the road
Right.
at 17. So that was something that for me, that was, it was different. Like they were still, my friends were still trying to figure out what they wanted to do and how they find themselves. How was that with you, Jesse? Like you're a kid, right? And then everybody else is just like going, goofing off, maybe going to Chuck E. Cheese or something. Oh, you got to go to practice.
Right.
How was that?
Man, to be honest, the main time where I was going through that was probably in high school. And, it was kind of a struggle because at the time it was all like, well, you can either go to dance class and try to get better at your skills, or you can try to go and play a sport that you like. So at the times it was a struggle. Like I wanted to do soccer. Like I've always loved soccer. I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
The only bad thing is that I'm not good at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I still remember, man. Speaking of that, I still remember when we did the tryouts for soccer, man.
Yeah.
Since I was a dancer at the time, I would always wear like sweatpants and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, all right, soccer tryouts, wear something comfortable.
Yeah.
So we get there, and I'm the only one wearing sweatpants. Everyone's wearing shorts and like soccer cleats. Like everyone's like dressed professional. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I look weird wearing the sweatpants.
Yeah.
So then I do it, and I didn't make the team or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I go to dance class, and I'm a little better there. And I'm like, okay, you know what, man? I feel better here because I'm actually progressing here. And like, it's a lot more creative. And, obviously I didn't make the team, so I didn't have another choice. So I had to go to dance class. But I had a great time there, and it helped me, get through high school.
Did you excel in sports?
Yeah, I was very athletic.
Man, let me tell you my story.
I was very athletic.
With sports, bro. So
okay,
I love playing football, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was little, right, or younger, love playing football. So like, boom, I want to play football. So I'm practicing every day. I'm watching the Rocky movies. I'm cracking eggs, bro. I'm drinking eggs and raw eggs and running outside my backyard. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a football player. I'm going to be a football player. Boom, right? So then here comes the tryouts, right? And they're like, bam, okay, it's going to be $35 for the physical and this and that. So I run home. I'm like, hey, I want to play football. They're like, all right, how much is it? I said, $35. Like, you ain't playing football.
Man, $35
Let me tell you,
back then?
that's like
I get you a lot.
35. That's like
probably feed a family for a week.
$35.
Yes.
$35
Yes.
is like maybe like right now it's like 75 back then.
I was
you
about
know?
to say 100.
About $100, right?
Yeah.
Because and then you got to think about it. I had a big family, so I had like 5 sisters, 2 younger brothers, my mom, my dad. There's like they can't pull that, right? So then I'm like, all right, bet. So then they're like, if you can figure it out, like if you can find like a free league, right? So finally, like I find a free league, and then I'm like, okay, I want to play. And then right before, boom, I get an asthma attack, and they're like, you can't really play. You know what I'm saying? So then that went out the window. So then I'm like, I'm begging, I'm like trying to figure something out. I'm like, all right, cool. Then I find baseball. Like, all right, cool, we're gonna do baseball. So now I get on, actually make the team. I wasn't that good or whatever. I think there was by default, like one of the kids like dropped out, and they're like, we need another person, right? So then I get on the team, and I get one hit the whole year, Beep, right? But we were I would play for the Braves in Little League in Baldwin Park, California, and I wasn't good or nothing, but we won the championship. So we were like we were district champs. Or whatever, I had a trophy, and everything. So if there's anybody out there from Baldwin Park, California, from the Braves that was on my team, I was number 5.
Big shout out.
Big shout out to y'all. And y'all didn't win because of me, but you know what I mean? I think I got one hit. I was a better outfielder than anything. Even that's a stretch. So we had this kid, dude, that was like, he was like little kind of like me, a little fluffy. He had a lot of love on him, right? He was fluffy, right? And he would like, his stance would be standing like that, right?
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he would like and he would go so low that the ball would go straight, and he would just duck his head, and it'd be a foul, like ball or whatever, right? So then that was like his little trick. I'm talking about his face was like this girl. I'm like, he would just stretch out and just. And that was he would just dip his head, and they're like, boom, boom.
That was
boom.
a secret move.
They're like, base. So that was that. Then there was this other dude. He was super fast. He was just pew 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 pew. He would like, it was like he would pitch, run, catch the ball, and throw it and be a back catcher all at once. Yeah, so
multi-talented.
Yeah,
kid.
multi-talented, man. So that was pretty cool, man. So shout out to all the little league people out
For
there,
real.
man. If you ever play, But it was something that kind of kept me entertained. I played 1 year. I wasn't that good at that either, So then I started like skateboarding and doing that type of stuff. And then after that, that's when, this is still early, and then, my neighborhood kind of started getting a little bit out of control.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, some of my friends and stuff, started passing away because of the environment. So we had to get out of there, and kind of ended up in California, right? Now, that that is something for me, whether you got to try things, right? You got to try something to figure out what works for you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, you're trying out sports. It didn't work for you. It didn't work for me and Jesse. So dance was something that did, right? And for me, I wasn't the best dancer, but, I knew for me, acting and dance and being funny was something that had to learn. And, I was kind of naturally goofy and stuff in class. And, so it's like, let's use that, put it on stage. Kathy was like, oh, because I used to get my bottom whooped, you know what I'm saying, for,
Right.
for acting up, right? So it's like, they hit you with the stick or with the shoe or whatever
Whatever
the
they
belt
can
or
The
find.
chancla.
yeah, the chancla, right? For us, and that was acceptable back then. Obviously, now don't do that to your kids. Talk to them. Love on them. But we come from a different era where you're to be seen and to be seen and not heard. And growing up in that type of environment, it was hard. So for us, we try to find something that we try to excel at. Dancing, and me getting in trouble for being funny ended up being what got me paid in the future, and all those elements, my dad taught me how to play music and the drums and stuff like that. So then, later on in life, I hated it back when I was growing up,
Right.
but now it's like I got a drum program for kids and I work with them and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
it was just one of those moments where, like some of our difficulty, like the difficulties of understanding who you are as a kid, like why I have to do these things, why I had to do that, kind of ends up becoming something that actually is going to help you down the long run. I know Jamie Foxx was saying that his grandma, would put him in these classes and he'd be like, oh man, I don't want to play this, grandma. I want to play football and this and that. And she was just like, you better play that piano, and things of that nature, right?
She saw it in him.
She saw it in him, and next thing you know, he's playing football, and he got the Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino, and then next thing you know, he gets the piano,
Right.
with Ray, he gets the Oscar,
Yeah.
and he has this beautiful song on his album where he talks about, I Wish You Were Here, when he dedicates that song to his grandma. So, Mr.
Oh,
Jamie
that's
Foxx,
nice.
I'm sure you probably won't see this, and if you do or you hear this, he's from Terrell, Texas, man. So,
Terrell,
He's
Texas?
from
yeah,
Terrell.
absolutely. So let's give him a big shout
Big
out.
shout out.
Absolutely. He's a big supporter of the arts as well, man. He's awesome, And I think what it's time for? I think it's time for some world news.
Time for some
Time
world
for the world news.
Absolutely. So
Let's go.
all right, I'm your host, Jorge Casco, with
Jesse with the weather.
and
Shadow Black with your traffic.
all right. So what have you guys been seeing around the news, man? Anything around the news?
So the only type of news that I've been hearing lately is if that the vaccine is actually now being more open to, basically everybody in Texas. So, everybody who has an opportunity, like if you need to go get one, feel free to reach out to any type of place that's offering it. I know the other day I was at Sam's Club and they were offering to, to get them there as well too.
Absolutely.
So, if you're looking for that,
yeah, or
just,
just check with your doctor, and just do some research online, basically, and then see what applies for you, what's for you too, So, any news on your end?
I've been keeping up with the George Floyd case now that they've that it just started. So
Yeah.
it's been just kind of watching that when I've had some time.
Cool.
Just
I know.
to see what's going on with
Is
that.
there any new details or anything, or with the George Floyd? No, it's just
Nothing new. I mean, other than what's
already known.
already known. It's weird. It's funny. These people, everybody, white, black, Hispanic, they don't. A lot of people don't agree with how that was handled.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
we're waiting to see how this is going to.
Absolutely. How it's gonna pan out.
Go,
I know, Jesse. You had mentioned, something about the, with somebody running into the Capitol that happened a while ago.
Yeah. So I saw in the news that there was an attack at the Capitol again.
Again.
Yeah, it was. I was on Easter, I believe. And everybody had the day off,
Yeah.
but they hired extra security to protect the building in case people were trying to tag,
Wow.
knowing that no one was there. And one person actually ran into and tried to kill 2 officers that were guarding the building.
Wow.
And they were severely injured, and they had to go to the hospital. Luckily, nobody was killed, but they were actually able to capture the person who committed the crime.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they injured. Nobody died,
Nobody died.
but one was injured.
Yeah, a few were
Oh
injured,
wow.
yeah.
Well, that's good. At least some good, right? Out
Right,
of
right.
that, you
And the
know?
good thing is that they were prepared for something like that,
Yeah.
So, in this case, the good thing is we learned from what happened,
Yeah.
from the previous attack, and now
Yeah.
they were able to like step ahead and, be aware that could possibly happen,
Yeah.
And they caught the guy.
Awesome.
Gotta
Awesome.
stay ready to keep
All
from
All right, well, they
getting
caught him. Well, round of applause to those that did their all right, something's happening here today. All right, round of applause to those cops. So if you guys are interested, if you're a veteran and you need some, the directory for, to find resources for, for veterans, go to NR. Excuse me. Let me see where it's at. Okay, nrd.gov. nrd.gov is National Resource Directory for all veterans, right? So you can get all kinds of information on there. And, if you're looking for, assistance or, just for the families who've lost, if you lost somebody in during war and everything, and you're a veteran and the families of veterans, they assist you with all kinds of stuff that can, you can apply to get some benefits and things like that. Go to nrd.gov, nrd.gov. All right, Jesse, why don't you let the people know where we're going to be at again? And we got some new dates, man. Things are getting better as far as the theaters are opening up, and we're getting a lot more business coming in there, Shadow. So, we're also getting married, getting ready for all these tours. So we're super excited about that. So, Jesse, why don't you let the people know where we're going to be?
July 10th, we will be working with the Missouri Symphony at the Missouri Theater in Columbia, Missouri. July 16th, we will be here in our hometown of Houston, Texas, performing at the Miller Outdoor Theater. So if you're in Houston, make sure to try to come through on that special day. July 19th through the 24th, we will be at the Camplex in Gillette, Wyoming. August 11th, we will be performing at the Wolf Trap Theater in Vienna, Virginia. December 4th, we will be collaborating with the Youngstown Symphony at the Dior Performing Arts Town in Youngstown, Ohio.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, go to M Discussions Podcast, mdiscussionspodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys. Send us some questions and just let us know what you're thinking about the show. So, once again, we have
Jesse Magana
and
Shadow Black.
we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.